I'm getting close to 1 decade in the gym. I'm getting pretty old, so it's time to share my knowledge of what I wish I knew when I first started out. Especially when I started out, I was a skinny kid who was about 45 kilo, 13, 14, and I had absolutely no idea where to start. I was trying to figure out all this information, but so much of it was misinformation, and I just had literally no clue what was going on. So I'm just going to give you a literal list and a step-by-step guide as to how to get yoked as simply as possible, because it is quite simple if you do break it down to the simple forms. First thing I'm going to talk about is obviously your training. So everyone wants to know, what is the secret split? What is the secret? How many days should you go? And the truth is, there is no secret. What you want to do is you want to get to this point where you're making the gym work around you and not you working around the gym. What that means is if you feel like you can't go to the gym 7 days a week, then don't. If you can go to the gym 3 days a week, go 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Just make sure it works around your schedule and you're not working around it. That being said, obviously the best splits for those days, you want to be hitting each muscle group twice per week. And in order to achieve that, if you're going 3 days, you want to do upper, lower, full body. If you're doing 4 days, you want to do upper, lower, upper, lower. 5 days, push, pull legs, upper, lower, which is the one that I do, just because I enjoy going to the gym and I want to go as much as possible with getting decent rest. And obviously you have 6 days, which would be maybe push, pull legs, push, pull legs. I would never recommend, honestly, going 6 days a week, because at that point you're kind of giving up your recovery, which you never want to sacrifice at all. But if you feel like you can go for it then and you enjoy it, then by all means do so and go for it. Next one after that is obviously going into the nits and gritties of your training. So what does your actual sessions look like? For the most part, it'll be 2 to 3 sets around the board. So with that being said, what does the actual workouts themselves look like? I'm going to actually add a link in the description to a beginner slash intermediate program that you can look at, which will kind of give you a good idea of how to program your sessions and kind of how to work around things. But for the most part, like I said, you want to go each muscle group trained twice per week, and that's kind of like the main goal. One's too little, three's almost too much, to the point where you can't really cover too much from it. So go for the sweet spot, which will be obviously two. And the next thing is try not to optimize or over optimize literally every single thing. For the example, recently, or should I say last year, people were saying hammer curls are vaulted, it's the end of the world, never do them again. But guess what? I do them every single week simply because I enjoy to do them. I think they're an enjoyable exercise. I like to push hard on them, so I'm going to continue to do them. If you enjoy a certain movement, but someone's saying it's not optimal, don't listen to them. Obviously, as long as it's safe and not absolutely ridiculous, and just keep doing that movement. Enjoy your training. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to push as hard as someone who is optimizing everything but just simply doesn't enjoy their workouts anymore. So focus on trying to enjoy your actual workouts, not trying to optimize every single little thing. The second thing is your diet. This one can get a bit complicated, so I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. For the most part, you want to be in a slight surplus. Unless you are starting overweight and it's really affecting your confidence and how you feel and your self-esteem, then obviously in that case, I would recommend going for a cut. If you're going for a cut, eat in a slight deficit and up the cardio. That's literally it. You're trying to burn more than you're taking in. On the flip side of that, if you're starting off skinny, you're obviously trying to eat in a slight surplus, not too crazy. If you try dirty bulk, trust me, it does not work. You'll just get fat and you'll end up hating yourself. A very slight surplus, so either if you're cutting, go 3 to 500 calories below your maintenance. If you're bulking, 3 to 500 calories above your maintenance. Everyone's maintenance is different. It's quite hard to figure out. Literally look up on the internet maintenance calculator and put in your details and figure that out. Then what I do, I weigh myself literally every single morning, and let's say it's been a few days or even a week and I'm trying to gain weight, the scale hasn't moved, then I feel like it's time to up my calories because I'm probably eating at my maintenance. And same goes with cutting. If I'm cutting and let's say, oh, I'm eating 2,500 calories, I'm not losing weight anymore, well then obviously I'm going to go down to 2.4, 2.3, 50 maybe, and then obviously up the cardio as well. As far as your macros, for the most part, your protein should be about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. People will always vouch for more, but I think you get a lot more benefit eating more carbs than protein in that kind of instance. If you don't really focus on your carbs, you're not going to feel your sessions, you're not going to feel good about yourself when you are in the sessions, you're not going to be able to push hard. Before the gym, have about 50 to 100 grams of carbs. To 30 minutes to about 1 hour before the gym, and it'll be kind of sweet in that kind of regard. If you're getting such a minuscule amount of fat to the point where it's non-existent, it's going to tank your test. So don't do that. Actually eat some fat at least. It's healthy for you. Don't fucking be afraid of it. Obviously, macronutrients is a big one. Just try literally aim for getting some sort of form of vegetable or fruit in each portion. So let's say, for example, my breakfast I'll have some fruit, while my dinner I'll have actually veg in there. I have different meals throughout the day, and I make sure each one I have, I try to include a portion of veg at least, because fiber is very much needed, macronutrients is very much needed, and all those things can be found in fruit. Next up on the trifecta is your sleep. The last thing you should be doing is undersleeping. It is so important for recovery, for getting bigger, for even feeling good about yourself. Aim for 7 to 8 hours a night. If you're getting any less than that, you have a serious problem and you need to think about how to solve that problem. When you go to the gym, when you lift heavy, you're creating this thing called protein synthesis, and that's very active when you sleep. That's pretty much how you get bigger. Your muscles are getting bigger, getting stronger, and that's obviously why you want to sleep. On top of that, you're recovering from fatigue that you've accumulated. If you don't properly recover after your workouts, then you're not going to be pushing hard the next workout. You're just going to feel pretty shit, to be honest with you. Stop trying to make the gym a chore to the point where you just don't enjoy it anymore. If you don't enjoy going to the gym, if you don't enjoy the process, you're not going to stick it out for too long. Because the most important thing really is consistency, and you want to make sure that you're consistent. And if you're not enjoying things, you're not going to be consistent at all in the slightest. Making sure that you're also progressively overloading, you're constantly focusing on trying to get an extra rep compared to last week. So let's say, for example, I do 100 kilo on the lat pull down. For 6 reps this week, I'm going to go for 7, even 6.5. Try and make some sort of little form of progress that you can be proud and happy about, and you can kind of run with this. So, for example, in a few weeks' time, a few months' time, I'm doing 12 reps for 100 kilo. And you know what? I'm going to up the weight. I'm going to go 110 kilo. I'm going to go for 6 reps and then restart the whole process. And I find that the most enjoyable and fun aspect of the gym, and just so happens that is literally how you progress in the gym. That's how you get stronger, that's how you get bigger. Stop obsessing with the 10 years or 20-year plan. Literally focus on the small little improvements each and every single week, and before you know it, you will achieve exactly what you wanted. But you also do want to hold some sort of vision or some sort of path where you want to go. Otherwise, I do find you'll get burnt out very fast. If you have no idea what you want to look like, how strong you want to be, where you want to be, then you're not really going to enjoy it as much because you're not constantly working towards this kind of better version of yourself or newer person who you want to be. So kind of keep that in mind as well when you are in the gym. And that is honestly all from me. Everyone's probably sick of hearing this voice, hearing this accent, so I'm gonna be quiet from now on. But if you enjoyed it, let me know, and I can make a part two because there's a lot I did not go over. I tried to simplify things as much as possible and also do this in one take, which probably wasn't the brightest idea. But yeah, you let me know if you liked the new video, like new kind of style content, and maybe I'll make another video like this.